500 million pounds FC. We're winning everything this year, FC, 𝙊𝙘 said. ¿Dónde está? What happened? This team is whack. This team is cheeks. Liverpool is the biggest farce, the biggest fraud we have ever seen. 500 million pounds. Listen, at least when PSG, when we were doing it, we at least looked good for the first half of the season, and in the second half, we fell off. But Liverpool, we're in November, and y'all are whack. C'est une dinguerie. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 3. A demonstration of power, a demonstration of force, a massacre in Manchester today. In fact, I'd be surprised if the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, does not go and press charges on Man City for what they did today. This was a one-sided affair, a demonstration of power, a flexing of force. City were simply too good for Liverpool. And now Liverpool, when you go and you look at it, the first thing I want to go and look at is look at Liverpool's form. In their last 5 games, 4 losses, 1 win. This is relegation form. This is the same form that Fulham have, that clubs Leeds have. Even West Ham are in better form currently. This is whack. This team is not all that. 500 million pounds. For what? For what? And of course, there's a bunch of things to talk about this game, goals that were disallowed, the penalties, all this. Won't get onto all that. But Liverpool, you can say whatever you want about the game, but today Liverpool did not deserve to win. This 3-0 is a fair result. You could argue that the margin, at least a victory, is a fair result. You could argue that, they should have had more, they should have had less. It is a fair result. However, let's get on to the game. First and foremost, let's do a quick overview. Overall, funnily enough, Liverpool actually had more possession than Manchester City in Manchester, which is interesting. But apart from that, that's basically it. Possession. XG, City. Shots, City. Shots on target, City. Big chances, in fairness, it is Liverpool. But everything else here, it is all City. XG from open play, XG from set plays, XG non-penalty XG from shots on target, all Liverpool. This Liverpool team is just not who they're not who they thought they were. They are not who they thought they were. And the scoring started, initially, first and foremost, there was a missed penalty by Haaland in the 20th, I can't remember exactly when it was, but early on in the game. And in the 13th minute, pardon me. And going and looking back, initially, I'm going to be honest, when I saw the penalty at real time, I thought Doku sort of just tripped, and I thought he was kind of making a meal of it. But afterwards, going and seeing it back, the first contact on the foot, I don't think that's enough for a pen. But afterwards, the collision with his knee, clear pen. I don't know how you can say it's not a pen. That puts Doku, it puts him off balance. If he's not there, he gets a shot on goal. He's already beat the keeper. It's a high goal scoring opportunity. So I think a penalty there is fair. And then afterwards, the penalty was terribly taken by Erling Haaland. In fairness, I'm going to go and say I don't understand the glazing that, for me here in England, that Gary Neville was giving to the penalty, and what a save. It was a good save by 𝙬𝙬, but he was talking about, what a shot. I thought Haaland struck it relatively poorly. It's in a good spot for the keeper to go and save it. And it's a relatively straightforward save by the keeper if you dive the correct way. So yeah, there you go. Bad penalty, miss already there for Man City. And it arguably already by then could already be 1-0. But then after that, it was just one-sided. Liverpool could not cope with City's pressure. City go and scored in the 29th minute. I think in this goal, I think every single City player, it was either this goal or the second goal where every single City outfield player, I think including Donnarumma, touched the ball at least once in that sequence of play. I think there was 20 passes that led to the goal. What a goal. Haaland goes, rises up for the header, gets to the header, scores it. It was bizarre because he wins the header, but it took a deflection either before or after or both, before it left Haaland's head on the way to the goal off Konaté. But the ball went in. It was a fair goal. I don't see how people are going and criticizing Konaté on this goal specifically. You could say, yes, he loses his duel, but he gets a touch on the header. It's just unfortunate for him that the touch brings it and goes into the goal. So I think it's a bit harsh to go and to pin it on Konaté. But outside of that, you could say it was poor defending by the part of Liverpool. Then afterwards, in the 48th minute, they go and score again. Gonzalez deflected shot by Van Dijk, which goes into the goal. But in between then, and arguably probably the talking point of the first half was the disallowed goal scored by Van Dijk in the, what I believe is the, if they're going to show it here, no. It was between these two goals, so sometime in like the 30th minute, somewhere in there. Obviously, it was from a corner. They take the corner. Van Dijk wrestles off of Nunez, puts the ball into the goal. However, in the build to the play, you have Robertson, who's clearly in an offside position and is in between the goal and the ball. And at the last minute, he's in the line, as in if he doesn't duck, the ball's probably going to go and hit him. So he ducks, the ball goes in the net. Now, the goal was counted for being offside. And I'll try to go and give both positions because I'm pretty neutral on that aspect. I'm not sure how, if I was in that position, how I'd rule. So first and foremost, proving that why you could argue it was disallowed is that, number one, he was in an offside position. In that offside position, he may have directly impacted the play. As in, if you're the keeper, if you're Donnarumma in goal there, you don't know if he's going to go and try to flick the header, bring it to your other side, or if he's going to leave it and allow it to go in. So you don't know. You don't know he's offside, so you have to anticipate for that. It'd be similar to like if a player plays the ball and he's clearly offside and at the last moment dummies it and the defender's sort of having to anticipate whether or not he's going to leave it or not. That would be you affecting the play to a certain degree. And so based on that, based on the rulings of the game, he is in the line of sight of the goal or can potentially act on the goal. And so you could see it's a rightful offside. The counter to that, though, is that you would say that, well, number one, he's not in the line of sight of the keeper. So Donnarumma has a pretty clear view of the ball when it's being headed in. And on top of that, it's not like he's getting to the ball there. If Robertson's not there, Donnarumma was not making that save. There's nothing he really could have done to prevent that save. And he didn't materially impact the play. He's not, holding on to somebody. He's not, tugging on to Donnarumma. So you could go and argue on that point that he's not in his line of sight. It's not, if he had not been there, he wouldn't have affected the goal. The goal would have went in anyways. And so based on those two things, you could argue that it should have stood. I can see it both ways. I personally probably would have gone and said that you probably should have allowed it. I don't see how there was an infraction there, but to each their own. That's my view. I'd be really curious to see what you guys' opinion is on the goal specifically. I don't know what exactly the laws of the game are. So I guess for me, and what I said on stream is I'd have to go back and look at the rules of the game. What does it say explicitly? If it says that if you're in any material way you can contribute or may have an effect on the game and you are in an offside position, then the goal is deemed to be offside and it should be chopped off, then fair enough. However, if it's a bit vague and whatnot, I would go and say that I think in the spirit of the game, I think that goal should have stood. But that's my 2 cents on that. Anyways, afterwards, as I said previously, City went on to go and score with on Gonzalez in the 48th minute, right before halftime, to go into halftime 2-0 up. And at that point, City, like Liverpool, were very poor. It's definitely second best. They started off the second half a lot better compared to Liverpool. So if we're going comparing the first half, City obviously dominated possession, more shots on target, XG, and everything. And the second half was a lot more in Liverpool's favor, had more possession, had higher XG, etc., so on and so forth. But still, definitely not enough from the point from Liverpool's perspective. Ďuďáku, who I'm going to go and have him to discuss about Ďuďáku more in depth, goes and scores in the 63rd minute. But Liverpool just overall were just not good enough. I go and look at from all the Liverpool players here, average of 6.0. I think is actually the average rating here is quite generous. I thought no Liverpool player here today was actually good. Salah, generational stinker. And at some point, we need to put this guy under the microscope. This guy is a fraud. This guy did all that season was performative. All that to get a bag. All that for $500K a week. Bar that, people said that this guy legitimately should have won the Ballon d'Or. This guy has dropped nothing but stinkers. Nothing but generational stinkers. At least before he'd mask it with a cheeky GA, a cheeky assist. This time, nothing. Nothing. Dare I say 6.3 is very generous to him. Now, once again, a little 𝙀𝙬𝘾𝘼𝘆, Havertz, Uzi Squirts, 009, 7-11, whatever you want to call him. 11 games in the Prem, 0 goals, 0 assists. And today, again, didn't do much. Was dispossessed. Didn't even have a shot on target. 2 shots on target. Was dispossessed at the very least a couple of times here. Dispossessed once. Corners, just another ghost session from him. 𝙀𝙀𝘋𝙀 didn't do much either. Didn't affect the play in any way, shape, or form. Sebastian, in fairness, was a lot more lively there. But again, didn't do much. McAllister, ghosted, didn't really see him do much. Gravenberch, same thing. As in just overall, you look at Liverpool's midfield here. When your 2 of your midfielders got a performance below a 6, things were tough. Once again, Van Dijk, 5.7. as in, it's just overall Liverpool, they just did not look good. Conor Bradley, 6.5, I think is being very generous. He got completely and absolutely torched by the man of the match. And we're going to go and have a full discussion about 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘼𝙐𝘾𝘼. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘼𝙐𝘾𝘼. It's not me, it's Jesus alone. What a performance by 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘼𝘐𝑼. And a 9.0, listen, if this was Lamine Yamal doing this performance, it's a 9.5. But we're not ready for those uncomfortable conversations. But anyways, we're not here to talk about him. We're talking about 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘼𝘐𝑼. What a performance. Man of the match with a 9.0. Most dribbles completed with 7. Was fouled the most with 4 times. Won the most duels with 11. I think I heard somebody when said that across the last 2 games he played against Liverpool, he had 22 dribbles completed. 22 dribbles completed. 15 in the previous game, 7 today. What? Like, I think low-key, I think people know that Doku is a very good dribbler, but because he's not the flashiest in terms, he won't do step overs, he won't, he's not like silky, he's very a bit like stiff, if you want to go and say it in that sense. He's not like a silky, elegant, dribbler, if I may say, like a Doué or like a Yamal maybe. He's a bit more stiff, a bit more like stop, start, rah, if you catch my drift. However, I think Doku's, shimmy, where he dangles his leg, has to be one of the most effective dribbles moves ever created. I feel like every time he does it, it always works. You know where he's going. You know he's going to go right most of the time. But the thing is, the one time he'll go and catch your left. It is so effective. He scores his goal with that. He completely torched Conor Bradley today. Absolutely sent him to the dry cleaners. Torched Konate on the goal as well. It was an absolute nuisance. Won a penalty. Just generational performance by Doku today. Generational performance by Doku today. Apart from that, I thought Liverpool overall, City overall, they were good, but didn't create, I don't think this was a generational performance by City. I just think that Liverpool was really poor and that City just hurted them. Haaland, that first half didn't really do much. Of all the outfield players to play 90 minutes, got 22 touches in the entire game. Missed a penalty as well, but it got his goal. So again, this is a pretty typical Haaland performance. Foden, I thought he was decent, found decent pockets, but didn't affect the game nearly as much. Cherki, I thought he had a cheeky little cameo, but again, didn't do much. Was subbed out in the 53rd minute. Bernardo Silva and Gonzalez. I thought Gonzalez was really good today. I thought he's really, really good today. And if it wasn't for Doku, I think he probably would have been the man of the match. Was bossing the midfield, got the goal obviously, was just being impactful in every way. Brilliant performance by him. The back line, sturdy. I thought O'Reilly was really good today. At this point, I was going to go and say he locked up Salah, but at this point, that's no longer really all that impressive of a feat. Locking up Salah is chump change at this point. But he had a good game. Same as Nunez got an assist as well. Both fullbacks getting an assist. So looking good. Donnarumma, another cheeky good performance. Didn't really have too many saves to make. If I'm 2 saves to make, nothing crazy. Had one decent save was from the who shot the 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘼𝙎𝙏 shot, which went right at him. But I don't think he was all that tested today. But yeah, overall though, wow. To put some closing thoughts in, I just think that this Liverpool team, I'm not sure how much longer this can go for, but at some points, if these performances continue to happen, you have to start having the conversations of, do you potentially sack the manager? It sounds crazy, but sacking the manager. I just want to go and have a quick look at the next fixtures for City. For Liverpool, pardon me. They've got Forest at home. They've got Eindhoven at home, West Ham away, Sunderland at home. So it's not the most difficult of fixtures. So I think for all of these, maximum a draw only, and everything else should be a win. Because you go and you look previously, yes, they beat Madrid, they beat Villa, so you think, they're back into, a better swing of things. But before then, you go and you're talking about 3-0 to Palace, 3-2 to Brentford. You beat Eintracht Frankfurt, 2-0 loss, 2-1 loss, 1-0 loss. The form here is not good. And you go and you look at the table now. At one point, Liverpool were first, or battling it with Arsenal. Now they find themselves 8th with 18 points, level 1 points with Spurs, who've not been great themselves, with Aston Villa, with Manchester United, and a point behind Sunderland. Yikes. So in total, that puts them, a full 8 points. 8 points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 8 points behind league leaders Arsenal. Is it the end all be all? No, you could still go and say that, it's not over, but I think one more loss, if that gap increases to 10, I think at that point you got to start going and saying maybe goodbye to the title. And it's funny to go and see just how at the beginning of the season specifically, after spending, the 500 million pounds, getting rid of all those players, completely doing an overhauling of the squad, getting Isak, getting 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝘼𝘾𝑗𝑖, getting all of these players, Wirtz, all of this. And we were hearing, I remember when Isak came and said, what's your goals for Liverpool? I want to win everything. And how people were saying, oh my goodness, we're done. The league is done. Give them the title. My. How a couple months can change things in football. Football is such a dynamic sport. It ain't over till it's over. And again, to take a little sentence from 𝙀𝙊𝘿𝘾𝘼𝙎𝙏, move in silence. Only speak when it's time to say checkmate. I think all this talk, all Liverpool, they're winning this, maybe it got to their heads a bit. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, like, for better or for worse, the season is not done. We're only in November. There's still plenty of football to be played. But guys, anyways, that's all. That's all. Thank you guys very much for tuning into the video. And thank you guys once again to everybody that was tuning in to the live watch along. It's been a pleasure as always. Make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to be following me on all my social media, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. And specifically YouTube, if you guys want to know whenever I'm going to be doing a live stream, because I typically schedule them in advance on those platforms. So you'll have an idea of which streams I'm going to be doing. But guys, that's all. That's it for me today. And thank you guys very much. And with that, remember, stay safe, stay kind, and stay blessed. Godspeed.